Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I've got no relevant financial interest or relationship to disclose. Okay, I was asked by my boss, the convener, to give a talk on this topic, tamponading agent, which is a very broad and huge topic. If you really want to do it in details, you can do a 5 hours lecture. So my mission impossible today is to condense this 5 hour stuff into 8 minutes talk. Alright, we are running out of time, and most importantly, I'm literally standing between you and a delicious lunch, as I'm the last speaker of this section. So I'm going to do this real fast and see how we should go. Alright, so tamponading agents, there are 3 categories, right? Gases, peripheral carbon liquids or heavy liquids, certain oils. Alright, intraocular gas literally is the first line of tamponading agent that we use. It's friends to the huge works by the big names like Macumer and Linkoff. So people begin to accept it as a first line agent. So you got many different choices, as the commonly used one listed here, like air, like SF6 CFF8. Air is non-expansive, will stay in eye for 5 to 7 days. SF6 is 20% non-expansive. The maximum expansion is usually 1 to 2 days and will stay in the eyes 1 to 2 weeks. CFF8, 12% non-expansive and will stay in eye, will reach a maximum expansion like 3 to 4 days and stay in eyes for 6 to 8 weeks. Alright, if you really want to understand how the gas works, you need to be familiar with the gas dynamics. It's simple, it's not that difficult. There are primarily 3 phases: the bubble expansion, the nitrogen equilibration, and the bubble dissolution. Wherever the gas is less soluble than nitrogen or water, it will expand wherever you inject it into the eye. So the oxygen, CO2, will diffuse into the bubble and make it larger. This will followed by nitrogen and reaching a equilibrium of the partial pressure. For SF6, the maximum volume is usually 24 hours. And this will then followed by the nitrogen equilibration phase, and then afterwards the bubble will shrink and they will start the bubble dissolution phase. So you've got many factors influencing the rate of gas transfer: surface area, diffusion coefficient, gas solubility, a lot of, and I'm not going to bother you with this. From the animal study, we observe an interesting phenomenon. Gas somehow may simulate a posterior separation. So in some cases, people suspect there might be an increase of the macular epiretinal membrane formation, or even the use of gas somehow may promote the anterior PVR formation because of the undue pressure from the gas on the residual cortical ridges. Choice of gases is very personal. Everyone got its own recipe, and ranging from air, SF6, CFF8, it all depends on the severity and also difficulty of the cases. So complications, elevated IOP and glaucoma are quite common, especially in individuals with impaired or reduced outflow facilities. Lens opacity, corneal changes could happen from time to time. Subretinal gas penetration is not that common, but could occur if there's some unfinished traction over a large break. Peripheral carbon was initially described as a third hand because it will help the surgeon by pressing the retinal thread, and then we can do the manipulation. Decalin is I guess it's still commonest, right? The agent that we use even in India. So that's the chemical formula of the Decalin. So indication, usually we would use the heavy liquid intraoperatively in some difficult cases, and like with the PVR, gyratory tear, ocular trauma cases. And complications, I'm sure everyone in this room have got experience of a certain time subretinal migration of the heavy liquid, or even some residual rich heavy liquid droplets. I guess the percentage is much higher than listed here, all right? And as for chemical toxicity or pressure atrophic changes, they are not that common because primarily heavy liquid is made for intraocular use. But if it happens, it could be quite nasty, like the pressure atrophic changes, because the undue pressure from the heavy liquid on the retina could produce some permanent damage to photoreceptors. Silicone oils. All right, we got a lot of choices, but primarily the chemistry is very simple. The building block is called the xylosane. All right, if you repeat the unit, you'll get different type of silicone oils. And I'm not going to bother you about this. All right, if you go back to the pressure over the retina, the facial surface tension is also important. It's determined by viscosity, chemical composition, because you determine whether the bubble will stay as a single bubble or will break down into different small, tiny bubbles. So indication usually in different cases, like severe PVR, general retinal tears, infection, retinitis, trauma cases. Emulsifications. From many years ago, studies by Friedemann and Huberts in 150 cases reported a staggering 100% emulsification rates. But I guess nowadays, with the improvement of the chemistry of the silicone oil, the percentage should be a little bit lower than that. Subretinal silicone oil penetration could occur if you have got some unfinished, once again, undue traction over the brick, or you have some excessive manipulation of the retina under the silicone oil. Suprachoroidal silicone oil is rare, but could occur in cases like chronic hypotony or trauma cases. Anterior chamber silicone oil sibling could occur like in cases with lucent sonio, and corneal compensation glaucoma do occur from time to time. So in the past few years, I think heavy silicone oil is still a very hot topic. I'm not sure whether you use it or not. I did not use it. Okay, so as for also in the past few years, I think from Spain, Spanish surgeons prefer the ideas of not using Tamponade anymore to fix the retina. But up to this time point, we are still waiting some head-to-head comparison, some good studies between the Tamponade cases and non-Tamponade cases in order to make sure whether this is a safe practice or not. Mission possible. Thank you so much.